Hello, and welcome to my Tableau assignment for the Citizens Data Science Project. Excuse my voice because I am sick right now. So, getting started, I have my three dashboards here with my three different visualizations, and I have seven different sheets with individual visualizations that I put on my dashboards. So, on my first dashboard, I have a bar chart that lists the number of records and transaction amounts for each city that these cafes were in. So when we look at Atlanta, all I have to do is scroll over the bar, over the number of records, and it shows us that Atlanta had 1,784 sales. That's not the dollar amount, but the number of sales that they had at this specific cafe. And the bar next to it, the orange bar, is going to show us the transaction amount, so how much they sold in dollars. So the cafe in Atlanta sold $8,041 from 1,784 records of sales. Auburn was really similar. They had 1,745 records of sales. That's just about 40 less than in Atlanta. But they had about $300 less in revenue from those sales. So it's really similar. Just like New Orleans and Tampa, we can see if we just scroll over. It's interactive, so we just have to scroll over the bars here. And in New Orleans, they only sold 744 different beverages. And that translated to $3,300 in sales, $3,300 in sales, and that's really similar to Tampa. Tampa sold 727 different beverages at this cafe, which translated to $3,282 in sales. And this is to really show just where the cafe stands with their beverages, how many they're selling, and how much in dollars they're selling of all those beverages combined. So in my second dashboard here, it shows the employees, whether or not they're students, the city that they're in, and the number of records of sales that they've made at that cafe. So it also gives their employee ID and their names. And if we go over here, we can actually put it in order. So we see that the person who had sold the most was actually a student that sold 634 beverages. It doesn't give the dollar amount, but it gives the amount of beverages that they've sold. So we can see the second is also a student with 574 sales. The third most was not a student, and they were in Auburn. They sold 496. Let's see, we can all go all the way down to the bottom. The person who sold the least only sold 42 beverages, and they were a student in New Orleans. We can just go up and see all of these. This would be really useful for, let's say, a chain restaurant that's in different cities, and they want to see which of their employees in each city is doing the best. And I know that some places, when they're opening up a new location, sometimes they want to offer employees a chance to move to the new location that's opening up. This would be a good way to find out which employees you might want to move to that new location. So in my third dashboard, it is a map that also shows the number of records of sales and the transaction amount, but you can actually see the state here. So Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida gives the employees in each cafe. So in Alabama, Rona Bowers sold $1,157 at this specific cafe in Alabama. And in Florida, Chanel Avila sold the most with $1,264 in sales. This is really useful because you can see it split up in each state. But what's also cool is on this little chart right here, it tells us which beverage in each state sold the most. We can see a bunch of different things, so I can put it in order so that we see that in Georgia, coffee was their biggest sale. They sold 902 coffees. They made $4,017 off of it. And in Alabama, coffee as well, with 858 different sales, making $3,778 just off the coffee. And hot chocolate, Georgia sold 340. The cafe in Georgia sold 340 and made about $1,500 off of hot chocolate alone. Florida obviously being last because it's always hot down here, so I don't know why you would want hot chocolate in Florida, but the cafe in Florida sold 142 coffees and made about $640 off of them. So these sheets are just the individual visualizations that I put in my dashboards. You can just see them in a bigger view here, and so you can scroll in, scroll out, and hover over them, and it'll interact with you and tell you exactly the situation in each state. Sheet 4. This was the employees split up by state and their transaction amounts, how much they sold. Sheet 6. This was a little extra thing I did that I didn't add in my dashboard, but it is a list of the employees and their birth dates. And in the little boxes, it tells you how much they sold over this period of time that's in this data set. So Emily Boyer was born in 1996 and she sold $618. And we see that the person who sold the most was born in 1999 and they sold $2,800. So the youngest person sold the most. Sheet 7, this is just the table that's split up by beverage that shows the number of records of sales for each one and the transaction amounts for them. So thank you for watching and have a great day.